Nice. Okay, this is the best. Yeah. Welcome back to Injury Time. We are sorry that it's taken us quite a bit of time to get back to doing regular podcasts, but in our defense, we were all quite busy. But again, we are trying to promise that we will come back and do as often as possible. But nevertheless, we have with us Vishnu Prasad today and Orko as well. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining.
Yes. Thanks
Yes,
for
indeed.
having us, and don't make
Yeah.
false promises.
I said we
Don't
are
don't make.
trying to promise. I didn't even say we are promising. I said we are trying to promise. Another person who has promised to show up and is facing technical difficulties is Naveen. We hope to get him on board at some point in the day. So let's start with the ISL, right? Three rounds, three the match weeks is over. So I'll come to Vishnu. You first. What did you make of the ISL so far? Who do you like? Who did you feel like, oh, they're probably not doing as well? So uh,
I
I
think it's
can
going
start.
on expected lines because it's Mohun Bagan is going to be up there. We all knew that, and they're looking like it's very early to say they're the team to beat, but they're looking like that. Mumbai City, they had a hiccup, but they too are looking good, I would say. And at the other end of the table, you can see Punjab. They got a point, but they're struggling. But and Chennai and thought everybody knew that that was a club in crisis even before the season started. And from their early matches, I don't see any indication that they can sort of mount a late charge like much like Bangalore FC did. But the ISL always keeps throwing up these strange stories. But early indications are that they are going to struggle this season.
What about you, Argo? What did you make of the competition so far?
I think on expected lines only. The surprise for me probably has been the. I won't call it the struggle. I'll call it the non-dominance of Mumbai City. Right. As someone pointed out rightly on Twitter, the biggest change has been, let's say, the replacement of Jahu with Van Neef, right? And that seems to have kind of put them off their rhythm. Otherwise, last year they were just a machine, right? This year, either the teams have caught up or caught on to Des, which is possible. But then you have to remember that Des is a very good manager. He will try and again work out the chinks. Bagan look like they will win matches by sheer force, nothing else, right? They can play four attackers, five attackers, they'll win, right? Um, no real surprises, I would say so far. CFC, we thought they would struggle. They have struggled. It looks like that's one of those seasons for CFC where I think they finish. I don't know. I don't want to say it. I think bottom two. Punjab, we always expected them. I expect them to finish 11th or 12th. They are on course, and no real surprises there. FC Goa probably too early to expect that Manolo make them a smooth machine. Even Hyderabad also it took some time to get going, but uh, by and large, I don't think any surprises. Uh, I guess you would say KBFC good start. 2 out of 3 is a good start for KBFC. But then again, uh, keep taking consideration that it's BFC whose own fans are have their own considerable doubts over their season, BFCs, and JFC, who again like looks like HFC also struggling on expected lines. So I don't think I think by and large a very expected start.
I think
Yes,
one thing we
I do
should
think
all
sorry.
pat ourselves on the back is that we got a lot of our uh, predictions right. In the sense, I remember us discussing on this podcast before when Sahal went to Bagan that it was a move that would benefit both Sahal and KBFC.
Benefit him, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
looking like that. He's looking really good in Bagan, and KBFC looks much more balanced without him with the players that they bought in. So I think
Yeah. Uh, hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
so,
Sandeep.
I have a certain nagging doubt, right? Like, I think one of the reasons why we are looking at Mumbai City and thinking they don't look as fluent as they used to is because they're playing Champions League in between. Those travels, those
For sure.
matches, the intensity they're playing in
For
is
sure.
fairly difficult. So we
For
have to
sure.
give them some leeway.
For sure. It
But
it
let,
it
let
has
me get
it also to be remembered that this is the first season of Champions League which is concurrent with normal season windows. I won't call it, not even calling it normal is exaggeration, because you have leagues like Japan which run essentially during different times of the year, right? You have leagues which run Jan to December also, right? So this is the first season of Champions League that's actually aligned with most Asian and most world calendars, in fact, right? So,
yeah.
and we've had Ravi on this podcast. He's already said playing one Champions League match is equivalent to playing two ISL matches. That's the step up in intensity. And Mumbai City have had, like, they faced the 13th team in Iran, right? And uh, so I mean, it's tough for them. I get what you're saying also.
Yeah, so I think that's a leeway, but in the same vein, we are talking about another team that is playing in Asia, which is Odisha. They are the AFC Cup, right? So when you look at them and their performance, what do you make of that whole thing?
I think I think we called it in the season preview, right? We said Lobera needs his people. Lobera's got his people, right? But they might be a shade past their primes. Um, we thought Diego and Roy, that combination is going to do it for you in the ISL, right? They still have enough between them to get it done. But again, go to the AFC Cup, it's a different ball game. We have a tendency to take, like, because we've always had some teams which breeze through the AFC Cup, we always had a tendency to take it. Yeah. But they've not. Like, even Bangladesh, and even if you see Bangladeshi Twitter, they've also been very vocal against Bruzon. Right? They've said he's always a big fish in a small pond when it comes to this thing. So Vasundhara also don't take it lightly. They spend a lot of money on their players, on the foreigners, right? Easily, sometimes even more than the ISL clubs, right? You could call them the Mohan Bagan supergiant of the of the Bangladeshi Premier League, right? Odisha, I feel I feel that midfield has been a big concern for them. They're not able to hold the ball there. Um, Roy is not the Roy of season 6 when he decimated him and Willow decimated opponents in the ISL. If you remember, I think it was a 80k BFC final at that point of time. The team was called 80k. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think Odisha sneak into the playoffs. They get it, but the AFC Cup already looks done and dusted after 2 match days, because Mohun Bagan have 2 wins. Only one team qualifies from the group, right? So they need Mohun Bagan to lose 2 matches, and they need to win all of their remaining matches. So done and dusted for me, that campaign.
And now we have our old host back, Naveen. I'm clipping you and putting you on top of the list so that you can take over the hosting duties.
All right, cool. Oh my God, Vishnu looks completely different. What is wrong with Vishnu? Okay, it's good to
There's
be
nothing
back.
wrong with me. It's just a weird angle.
He comes
Literally,
for a
the first thing
podcast
you
for the
felt like
first time
saying
in a
after
year.
you came back after what, 2 months, 3 months, what was it? But I look.
No, he came back
Yeah,
after a year, and the first thing he said was Vishnu looks weird.
I said different, not weird.
I
Okay,
feel I feel personally attacked, man.
that everyone does nowadays in India. So just join the group. Nothing new. Cool. First up, disclaimer: I haven't watched much of the ISL because I was hospitalized and all of that. Didn't get much of a time. Then Asian Games followed, which kept me busy. But I caught a glimpse of the Mumbai match against Kerala Blasters. A lot of fun because a lot of fight happened. Kept me entertained apart from the football. I think that's the next thing that we'll be touching upon, right? Mumbai City FC, not just in the ISL but also the AFC Champions League. Not the kind of start that they would have hoped, given the way they performed last year at the AFC Champions League. But this time around, it's different because it's home and away. Traveling in West Asia is like traveling across Asia is never easy, and that seems to have taken a toll on toll on this side, especially that away game against Navbor, if I'm pronouncing that team name right, because
Navbahar.
if it's me, I'm pretty sure I might not be pronouncing it right. So that seems to have taken a toll on them, and that is also translated into their matches in the ISL. That fatigue factor, because that's something that I heard the commentators speak a lot about, right, Vishnu? How do you see Des Buckingham going about his campaign this time around in the ISL and also Champions League? More or less is done and dusted for them, like it is for Odisha. The AFC Cup is, because 2 losses now. Next up is Al Hilal at home. Uh, Vishnu, how do you look at Mumbai City and
uh, this is conclusive
am
proof
I
that
lagging?
Naveen was not watching our stream either, because we did
Yeah.
discuss all these topics already in Mumbai.
Oh,
And
we did.
one
Okay.
thing
I
about
told you I'm
Alilal,
dengue. I was admitted,
I
hospitalized.
know.
Not watching anything.
I have to say, like, do you think Neymar and all of them will end up coming to India? It would be amazing, right, if Neymar came and played. They are playing
It's a
in
dead
Mumbai
rubber for
itself,
them, I
so
think.
it'll be great.
I think it's a
It'll be
So
fantastic.
So the only person who I have doubts about coming to India is Neymar, because he's anyways not
Correct.
playing all of Al Hilal match. He's having a gala time in
Yeah,
Saudi.
exactly. That's what I was wondering.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apart from that, other fellows who are there, I think they will turn up, because he needs players to play in Al Hilal. It will any day be a good match to watch. Al Hilal will romp, like score some tons of goals is what I'm expecting. Like no disrespect to Mumbai City FC, but that's the Gulf and quality that we have seen when it comes to Asian teams and Indian teams. But over and above, Vishnu, yeah, it was your turn to give in your 2 cents on Mumbai City FC, the match against Kerala Blasters, and everything that we've seen so far.
No, I think we touched upon a bit of Mumbai City already, and as Arko said, I think they will look a bit less fluent in the league as long as this Asian distraction is going on the sidelines, and they have to make the most of it because, if I'm not wrong, next year onwards they are not going to the Champions League.
Yeah.
The cup format is completely changing, so this is their one chance to rub shoulders with all the big guns. They will look that part, I think, and they came up against a Kerala team which is looking much better than they did last year. At least in terms of balance, they're looking much more balanced last year. And the another ISL game, another like a bunch of complaints about refereeing. That's nothing new. I think after the match, there were a couple of comments about the cards and the performance of the referee, which was more or less justified. Yeah, that is one strange thing about the season is that quite early on we've seen quite like a bunch of red cards already, haven't
Yeah.
Yeah. I quite like, I mean, I don't know, the referee's job is always very difficult, but they don't make it easier for themselves also with certain decisions. Like I saw when Chetri won that penalty, right, against East Bengal. There was a huge uproar against Chetri and everything. So I was thinking from the referee's point of view, he was on the other side. It would be difficult for him to see that Chetri had put his leg across.
They're calling him a
But the
dolphin.
linesman should have known.
No, they're calling him a dolphin. No.
Yeah, the linesman maybe could have done better, maybe if you could argue. But that I sometimes have sympathy for referee because we never see which angle they are watching things from. So
It's
somewhat,
for me that was very difficult for the referee, honestly.
and it's very smart from Sunil.
Yeah,
He knew
he knew
what he was
everything. He
doing.
knew where the referee was. He knew everything.
Yeah, it's veteran. This thing, wily old fox. You
It's
say.
it's not it's not easy to be a referee also. And I think we've discussed it so many times. We said they don't have matches. They also, you can't just be directly thrust into ISL also. Like you have to have like State League and Durand Cup, and like you have Durand Cup and all. But I'm saying it's difficult for them also.
But isn't that how someone gets into the top league? Like you officiate in the lower divisions and then come up, or
That
is it
is,
like a backdoor entry?
but referee appointments, and it's because I've been, let's say, I've had a state league team, right? So
Yes.
when asked the question, ki, how do the referees get appointed? There's a referee committee, but you don't know if there are any parameters. What are the parameters on which this referee committee appoints the referees? Similarly, AFF also has a referee committee, right? So yes, ideally that should be the pathway. You starting from lowest to highest. Uh, but I also feel like there's a lot of problems for the referees. For example, ISL pace. ISL is to ACL as with what state league is to ISL, right? The jump from a state league to an ISL is also a lot, right? Especially if referee is a former player, right? In India, I've seen former players not even keeping up with the rules, right?
Yeah.
I've had fights with referees who are saying it's not offside, it's a deflection. But if you look at law 10, I believe it was, there are only 17 laws. If you look at the law, it says that it's not, that is not true. That is not, the deflection does not mean it's not offside, right? So,
Right.
uh, so we have systemic problems with the referees, right? So the one of them is essentially just keeping up, like what happens when there's a law update, right? All of these processes, do they even have SOP, standard operating procedure? Do they even have procedures, weekly catch-ups, whatever, right? Do they have updation mechanisms? They say they do,
No, no.
right?
I have personally attended referee rule change updates, Zoom calls, etc. I have attended quite 2, 3 of them as well. And
Hmm.
at least in Karnataka, I can speak for Karnataka for sure, that there is a referee assessor sitting for every single match.
It becomes a very
Who's giving,
dependent on state FA. Huh? Becomes a very dependent on state FA thing also, right? How many state FAs do that? Karnataka right now, you're talking about the number one state FA in the country. To
so
be
I can
very
only say
honest,
from my experience, right?
yeah,
This is what I have seen. I think Kerala also
yeah.
has referee assessors,
Huh.
and Goa
No,
also does.
having referee assessors is not an indicator of anything. To be very honest, having that is not an indicator of anything. Referee assessor will always mark the referee as to how close or how this thing is. Referee assessor is just there to just eat snacks on the ground. Very honest first person experience. First person experience. Referee assessor, match
Again, I
commissioner.
think it varies. I think it varies because
This is
there
in the
Huh.
are
sweeping
leagues
statements.
where the referee assessors work. There are leagues where he comes on for the
Huh.
snacks. So I think
Huh.
I don't think it's like pretty much everything else. You can't have one general rule for all of India, I
One
guess.
general, yeah.
Actually, I'll tell this for a fact that I once sat next to one referee assessor, and he told me every single decisions that the referee was taking, saying this is correct, that is not correct. These subtle things that sometimes they barge into the back, right? A defender barges into a forward's
Yeah.
back, and then they does not. He didn't blow the whistle. 2 minutes later, the same thing happened. So then I was like, why? What is the difference? So he'll tell you that when the barge happened, was the player grounded or was he in the air? If it's in the air, even a small push is a foul. If he's on the floor, small push they sort of let it be. So that guy is looking very subtly, like Vishnu mentioned. The ones that I have seen, I've always done with a notebook or whatever. I've always made notes and gone and given pros and cons and whatever it is. So that part is there. I don't know about Delhi FA or the other leagues and stuff. I can only speak
I
for
mean,
the ones that I've seen.
uh, Delhi, Chandigarh, I think referees are just too bad. Like they believe here that football is a physical sport. Here, football is a So according to the laws of the game, right, you are not even supposed to touch. I agree that people, if you touch them with the finger, people go flying. But according to the sheer laws of the game, you are not supposed to. Only shoulder barges are allowed. You can't even keep your hands like this in the penalty box. That's a penalty, right? No, none of this. What is the extent of touching business and all? Let's look at the best leagues, right? It's just that I just feel even if the rules are updated, uh, it's true for both coaches and I feel referees. Everyone should have access to watching matches. I think some amount of match watching and introspection and going back, this should be the norm.
But
So
guys,
what is
isn't
the
that like a
solution here?
very
Because
Isn't
Sorry.
that like a
Yes,
very
Tom.
interesting point? Because if you look at Europe, you can see that the way referees look at the game in England differs greatly from the way
Yeah,
referees look at the game in Spain. But
Hmm.
India is so big that you have in different parts referees looking at the game in different ways. That this disparity in how in decision making and how they look at the game and in their view of football culture that is there in Europe and different countries. In India, we have 4 or 5 regions where referees act in a whole different way. So, do you think that is a cause for in many games, one set of fans being completely unable to comprehend why the referee did a particular thing, while the other
yeah.
set of fans
I can, you can, I mean, I agree with you because the way you see football in Mizoram is different from in Kerala, from,
Correct.
etc. I'm sure the referee aesthetics and also will differ. But I do feel like some of the calls they miss in the ISL are not really that bad. Some of them are very blatantly bad, right? Some of
Yeah.
them are very touch and go. But the problem is that one touch and go decision is the one that is always highlighted. Like this fellow, what is that striker? Luka Majan, that goal was, he was not offside. It was a very bad call.
It was not up.
Basically, I think had that gone in, they might have gotten something out of that game because Goa
But
didn't look like
but then again, you're saying it's a bad call. It was, but you're looking at it in slow mo. You're looking at it as a
that was a
replay.
bad call because he was well behind the defender. It's very bad call. But that kind of blindness also happened. Like look at VAR and what happened with Tottenham and Liverpool. Certain Liverpool fan is sitting here.
I
They wanted a
listen.
replay.
No, no, it's okay, dude. It's just
The,
part of life. You win some, you lose some.
the West
Bad
Germany
calls
team
are
of
part of life. You can't blame.
1966, the West Germans in 1960 will come up from the grave and say, "Oh, you give a replay to that match."
Cool, but
Speaking
my
of
question here is, what is
dicey
the
calls,
solution?
did you see Sanjay Jingan's handball?
Say that again?
Handball. Like he
Ah,
had a handball. I still don't understand what happened there. I just
I
when you
also.
Sandesh being
but
Sandesh.
referee did see that and gave him yellow card also. So kudos to the ref.
All right, I'm asking for the third time. What is the solution to this problem?
There's no solution. You just
Because
have to grow the
they
league.
need
You have to grow the
no,
games.
you have to
Grow
draw
the
the
number of
game.
games.
So
There's nothing else you can do.
no,
And
for a sense
maybe a
of
little bit of
uniformity, because
professionalism. Sorry?
no, a sense of uniformity, because like Vishnu mentioned, the disparity of referees or players or even watchers of football coming in from different regions is different. So, and since ISL is a national league, it is held at a national level. There needs to be a sense of uniformity, right? Especially when you're talking about the
They will
officials.
try, but at the end, it's all subjective only, no? It's where you have grown watching football. The way you, Naveen, and I played football with Naveen for a long time. The way he plays is very different to the way I play. So it's just you are in Bombay, I was
Yeah.
in Kerala. We play very differently. And if the only uniform thing is if anybody uses the walls in the five-a-side thing, we both smash that guy. We don't like people doing that thing to beat us. So that's the
Or
only
yeah,
issue.
or probably you like, again, like I'm taking an example from what I've seen in hockey, where they have it happens at a national level, where referee education happens at a national level. It's not at state's discretion. It's not the state association discretion. So if AIFF takes the reign and decides, okay, referee education happens at the national level, will that bring in a sense of
It
uniformity
does
about
happen.
how?
It does
It
happen.
does happen. Yeah. Match commissioners, referees, all of them do have, you know, meetings or what do they call it when everybody comes and
Conference.
conference and those kinds, those kind of stuff. Workshops, not conference,
Workshops.
workshops. Yeah.
Everything. One and the same.
I think speaking of solution, this is a good time to segue. I read that might be something that might be the greatest tweet of 2023. The solution to age fraud apparently is having a medical conference, and I legit lolled at this. I legit lolled. I think you guys have seen the tweet that I'm
I
referring
have
to.
not, but
What are you guys living
what,
under a
what
rock?
medical
Like you
conference
guys,
is he talking about?
there is a first ever. India might hold the first ever football medical conference. That is
I thought
Yeah,
that
apparently
was a
moved.
different thing. That was just about football
yeah.
medicine.
No, but the way the tweet was framed, it was first it was announced that a big measure is coming in 2024 in a separate tweet, and then the next tweet was that, oh, and by the way, we are doing the first ever football medical conference. If that is a proposed solution to age fraud, then I don't know.
But can we
Like,
say kudos to Subroto Cup organizers who went and
Yeah.
caught a lot of the people who did age fraud and then have kicked them out of the tournament, which is a fantastic first step. But please keep a note of all the names who were age fraud because they might come back again at a different age level.
huh. I think I think Subroto I think took the decision because I think a lot of people wrote into them because I see a lot of people posting it these days. Like age fraud is now being openly posted. I saw somebody from Sikkim posting, then they took a screenshot also, and the games are also now visible on Sports KPI, Sportscast,
Sportscast, yeah.
Sportscast, sorry.
Yeah,
Sports
good
KPI is doing
grounds.
this.
Huh? The
Sorry?
ground actually was quite good when they played.
Huh.
It was quite impressive. So kudos to them.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right, shall we move on to the next team in the ISL? If we haven't spoken about it, we just touched upon because we touched upon at the hand of God. We're talking of FC Goa. Again, a work in progress team because there has been a sea change and that is quite evident in the way the team is playing. Sandeep, the man in charge is someone that you have always waxed lyrical about.
Very good.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, and yes, he's taking his time but doing a decent enough job so far.
Yes, I think this year FC Goa has a lot of pressure because they have invested a lot of money. They've got a lot of players who are to perform now. There was always this thing with FC Goa that these are young boys, young up and coming Goan players who are playing right back, left back, coming into the midfield, etc. But this year they have ready-made players. They have some of them, as we have seen as
Yeah.
well. But there is a clear change in philosophy. I think the
Yeah.
last 2 years of not really doing what they were believed that possible that they can do, they're probably really pushing it this year. There has been change in management structure also that has been announced.
Yes.
So overall, it's a big season for FC Goa. But the good thing is they are getting results. But I still feel like they can be got in set pieces. 2 times Murtada Fall scored in the last game.
Correct.
Whoever comes, it's like something with FC Goa. Whichever coach has come there has not been able to solve the set piece issue. They just keep conceding from set pieces. Maybe if they can shore that up, there's good enough team. Like I think Noah Sadawi is maybe the best or 1B player in the league. He single-handedly can win you games. So they have everything there. But they're not cohesive yet. Maybe it's only a matter of time. They played one less match also, so that
Yes,
also
they
works.
have. Well, uh, Orko, you're also someone who's been really. You worked with FC Goa in the past, and you know the workings of how things used to work, and what are the changes that you're seeing now, especially with the change in management, because that brings in a lot of changes also, right?
I think change in management was due for some time, and I think it was in the works. Also, the Pyramids are not they're not no strangers to Indian football, right? Pune FC.
Yes.
They're also they were also listed as, correct me if I'm wrong, as owners of co-owners sometime in the past, and then they were removed. I think this also do with I mean, it's not been announced probably, but probably there have been some shifting of stakes because we also know that the parent company Delta Corp
Yeah.
has been targeted by the new gaming GST laws. Them and Dream 11, I think, have been hit very
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
by
It's just
yeah Dream.
given way to a meme
Huh,
on.
because I think post facto tax from 2016 is being levied,
Yes.
right? And Dream 11
Yes.
has been hit with a bill of 40,000 crore as GST. If I'm not sure, but I think that is the number, right? So yeah, I believe that things on the field also I guess investment this time has been higher than it has ever been before, right? You have all these 1 CR players that have come in. You have
I think
Rainier, Rainier
I think that's
Sudan
what
Shah.
Sandeep meant about like people who have come in, they need to perform now and not wait time. They don't have time to settle in and blah blah blah
They
because these are
FC Goa,
established players.
FC Goa have changed their philosophy. Even with the
Yeah,
foreigner recruitment, right? They've always said if one foreigner goes, and if you see today's ISL, a lot of the foreigners there have come from FC Goa,
true.
right? Whether it is Mumbai City or Odisha, right?
Yeah,
What they've done this year is with a Carl McHugh, with a Ode One India, with a Victor Rodriguez, they've said these are proven performers in the ISL, and they've done that with the Indians also. They've changed tact completely. This is a make or break season. This is a win. We have to win season, right? So essentially we are looking at a scenario where they do not have any time. They have to. There is no Asian football. That's
yeah.
only
This
Mumbai
is the time
City.
to deliver.
Yeah, this is the time deliver. There is no, and Manolo Marquez also knows that. He knows that he's not been bought in. He doesn't have time for a project like he did at Hyderabad, right?
Correct.
But to be fair, he also won only second season. He won the league there, and true to style, they were really good, right? They were really good. I
Correct.
mean, but one thing, they're not playing tiki taka anymore, right?
Hold on.
And people seem to have misunderstood that about Manolo, right? Manolo's strengths lie in grinding out 1-0 wins, right? People call Manolo an attacking coach. I call him somebody who prioritizes clean sheets. He may say otherwise in his press conference, he may say anything, but Manolo organizationally is superb, right? Manolo organization is superb. He's somebody who's really good in in keeping the ball out of the net, right? And people again point say, and some season they considered yes, but in Hyderabad he had to build a product from scratch, right?
Correct.
So he he won't be really happy because they consider two also against Odisha, right? But this time he has Noah, who's a get out of jail card, and Noah might just decide where where the league's heading this time.
True. Well, from Goa to a team
Can
that
I
is.
throw in some conversation here? Something that I was thinking the other day.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we grew up at a time. So we grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, right? We grew up at a time when Goa had fantastic players, right? Dempo was on in their pomp, and Goan players used to go play everywhere. Right now, after Brandon, we have not seen that kind of talent or consistent performer come from Goa. And Brandon is no spring chicken. He's, I think, 30 or at
30,
least
30,
closer to
yeah,
30.
30, 30.
Yeah. We have not seen anybody come from that side. So you're looking at a club who has always sort of brought in players. Had Sheraton, you had Princeton, Liston, who's good on his day, but is not that most consistent at least so far. Mohammad Yasir also, again, little hot and cold, but clearly talented. Are we looking? I do wonder if the Goan football strength is not what it used to be when we were growing up. It's a question that I wanted to just put out there because it's something that I was thinking about. Little bit inside information also I have. Let's just say,
Two ways to look
but
at it. You can argue that Goa has gone back, or you can argue that now other places have started contributing players as well. Because if you in the 90s, footballers came from pretty much
Three states.
three states: Kerala,
correct.
Goa, and you had the
Hmm.
odd ones from TN and Karnataka as well. But apart from that, it was
Bengal,
more or less from three
No,
Punjab,
no.
states. But if
Then
you
if you're counting Kerala, Kerala is NP Pradeep. You had
Mohammad
Vijayan.
Rafi,
Yeah,
Mohammad Rafi.
Yeah, you
yeah.
had
So
Kerala. At one point, half the national team was Kerala. So you had
at
Jabal
one point you
Anjali,
could
you
argue
had
Movies
that
are
Sachin,
You had
70% of national team was
then
Manipur. Was Manipur.
right.
Then you had like this Bengal is a far cry from the Bengal players that used to come that time also. You had Arnab Mondal. You had a lot of players from Bengal also back then. So four states essentially. Goa also.
Punjab. You can't forget Punjab.
Uh, Yeah, but Goa's contribution was much higher. Much higher. If
Yeah.
you look at Clifford Miranda, you look at Climax Lawrence, you look at all of these players. Samir Naik. So,
Just a thought. Okay, Naveen, please take off because I just wanted to put this
yeah.
out there.
All right, like we move on to Goa from people who have come out of Goa and gone to another team, and that team we are talking about is Odisha. 3 matches played, one win, one draw, one loss. Vishnu, you haven't spoken for a long time, so I throw it up to you. How do you look at this Odisha team under Lovera?
It's
Oh,
not
he's
like
not interested.
30 seconds ago. I mean, no, it's not that I'm not interested, but Odisha and all, we had a recap of the entire league before you came in where Arco talked a bit about Odisha and Lovera.
Oh,
So
that is
it's
done.
a bit of a.
Oh, I'm just following the running order that Sandeep gave me. I think next one is. Have you spoken about Northeast already? Let me just ask you right
Northeast
No,
now.
is
no.
one
We
team that
only
we have
spoke
not talked
Oh,
about.
oh, we haven't. So,
Northeast, East Bengal, BFC,
oh, no.
Punjab.
Right.
Okay,
We
we
have not
haven't. So
spoken.
let's talk about Northeast because that team looks interesting. I won't say impressive, but it looks interesting with a few
No,
impressive goals.
they have
Oh,
been
I mean,
impressive in as far as they have performed this year.
okay. Orko was shaking his head, so I'll leave it up to Orko. Orko, go on, give your 2 cents.
They'll finish. They look better than last seasons for sure. I saw them live. First ISL game in the capital in 5 years. Punjab versus Northeast.
There were more
Uh,
people in the stadium, by the way. I
yeah,
could see people in the stands. Usually, I never used to.
yeah, there are actually decent turnout, 6k, and I think that number
Yeah.
is kind of true. Also, considering our
Oh.
pension, penchant for this, I think that number is true also. So I spoke to a Punjab FC player, and they said, भाई इससे तो easy match नहीं मिलेगा home पे जीतने के लिए. I'm like, no, but Northeast is a good team this time. They're like, no, they had their chinks. And then he gave me some insight, right? He was on the pitch that day. He played all. So what he said is that you take away that quartet they have. They have Parthiv. He also blamed. He's like, we gave them too much time. Parthiv that day also, but you could see Punjab growing into it, and they had their moments. Of course, Northeast could have won it 2-0 also, but Northeast, the strength is their their what do you say their Spanish coach, right? I say he's doing a very good job with the resources he currently has, right? And they're also a team who've not taken the transfer window lightly. They've kind of gone out in the market and they've also this thing. So they expect to qualify to the playoffs, but anything beyond that will be a bonus, right? I expect them to finish, let's say, somewhere in the middle run, fifth to eighth. They're neither are they like basement dwellers, or nor are they going to shoot for the stars this season. They're going to finish somewhere in the middle, I feel. And what I saw in at the JLN, they still have chinks in the team that they're trying to iron out. For example, they're trying to solve who'll play on the wing opposite to Parthiv. They have Redeem. They have a couple of players, but they're still figuring out what's the best thing is. The good thing is for them, Parthiv's form has been spectacular. Although he's scoring that one similar goal, right? But it's good omens for them. And yeah, let's see. I think that the Rafa Benitez imposter they have will 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 come good for them.
So here is the thing with Northeast, right? This is a club, and the Vapes have said to Orko that you rank them last, but in the comment section. But
No, I didn't.
Northeast,
I don't know.
I don't remember.
No, I don't. Okay, I
Northeast
don't remember. Huh?
has always been this. I doubt you would have because it would have probably been Hyderabad or Chennai that you would
Punjab,
have put in the.
Punjab for me.
Okay.
Still Punjab only for me. Yeah. Anyway,
So Northeast as a club, right, historically have always struggled to make the playoffs. They did once in the bubble season under Khalid, and then under Elko Shatori when they had Bart Ogbeche and Gallego and a very good informed midfield. What is you? I forgot his name.
yeah.
The Indian midfielder man, I forgot his name.
Who? Northeast.
The Indian midfielder for Elko Shatori is in Northeast.
Puitia.
He's in Goa now. He's in Goa now.
Uh,
Yeah. How is this
He's in
possible?
Goa now.
Okay.
Rowling?
Yeah. Rowling, yeah. So I was thinking Rainier, but
How can you forget Rowling?
the point is, yeah, Rowling. But this is the interesting thing, right? The Northeast has always sort of had a very good eye for a foreign player. They bought Gallego in, they bought Ogbeche in. There was the Greek in between for a half a season who came and went, was quite good. There was Dylan Fox who came through the Northeast itself. Now, like
Back in the early
knowing
days, you
Mandar
had
and
Marcelino as well, right?
yeah, and Velez,
Yeah,
Nico
Velez,
Velez, I
Velez,
think
not
is
They've
Marcelino.
had good.
Velez.
Bart Ogbeche started at Northeast,
Started at
right?
Northeast. Yeah.
ISL
yeah, that's
legend.
what
Huh.
I did say his name.
Uh,
So the thing is, knowing I haven't spoken to Mandar and all, it's a huge project that they are trying to do there, and I don't know if they are ahead of it or like on par with what is expected. Because again, you look at the team, it's not the most common names that you find there. You wouldn't expect them to do all that well. But that's why I was saying it is an impressive start insofar as how they performed. Sometimes the result has not gone, and they depend a lot on Parthiv Gogoi to get those goals. So the question is, what happens when Parthiv is marked out of the game? Is somebody else going to step up? So I think this is a very interesting year for Northeast to see how much they can grow. And I think they're also making deals behind the scenes. They're changing the structure of the club as well. A lot
they
of
are
things are happening on.
from what I hear, they are approaching every Tom Dick and they are going. They're very aggressive behind Indian players. They're
Yeah,
that.
they're doing that,
Yeah.
and they realized that they are not going to be able to spend the money that a Goa can spend or any of those teams
Uh,
can spend. So they are trying to go in a different way. So this is a market which ISL has very successfully done. Shillong has done. I wonder if they can replicate the similar sort of a plan going forward. So that's something to
let's
be
see.
asked
Um,
about. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Early
like I
days.
said, I just replied to the wave saying you said there's lucky there's no relegation, but because look at the historical finishes of Northeast. How many seasons have they finished bottom? Let's see. They at least twice that I remember, right? At least twice, right? If not more. So
Must have. I can't
no,
remember.
historically they've been a very shambolic team, and they've only qualified to the playoffs once, right?
Twice.
Yes.
Twice.
Elko,
Elko,
Khalid,
Ilko, Khalid.
Khalid Jamil, man.
Khalid Jamil, yes, twice. Sorry, my bad. Khalid Shelko was the first qualification, 2018-19. Yeah, yes.
So
Let's
he
move
was
on.
going historic. He had his predictions backed by historical facts and not anything else. So
Okay.
you're safe, or you don't have to worry about it. But
I'm
probably
not
one
okay.
team you're not worried. Look at your face; you're very worried. So moving on from one team that you watched at JNL to the other team that you watched at JNL, that is Punjab FC. First time in the in the ISL. How do you look at them?
Uh,
Or have we
so
spoken about Punjab again?
Punjab, Punjab will struggle for Jordan Wilmargil is their best signing of the season, and they'll struggle for goals until he comes back. Luca tried and tried, but he just looked like a pensioner on the field. Like
Yeah.
he struggled to keep up with the pace of the game, and from what I saw, like they fed him a lot, especially when Juan Mera was on the pitch, but they will struggle unless Jordan comes back. I think he has a groin issue. So until he comes back, it's going to be a struggle because uh, they might concede lesser number of goals. They're trying to figure that out. They're trying to get their defensive shape. And from what I saw, they were very well organized at the back. They were very well organized at the back. Northeast could still have had 3 goals, by the way. They missed a penalty and one clipped the post. So still have.
Yes.
But the main concern for them is where the goal's coming from, because right now it's just not happening. Right, even the one that came against ATK happened because Mohan Bagan Super Giant happened because it was a
Old
bad pass,
habits.
and yeah, yeah, it was a mistake, and it was capitalized on. Yeah.
Cool. But what about them giving a good account this season, especially they being the team that's promoted from the I League into the ISL? How do you look at that prospect of Punjab FC, Vishnu? They're the first team that got first team ever to be promoted to the ISL, and the performance that they have to put up to show that okay, I League teams are no less than the ISL teams.
think this kind of a debate they've had for a while, in the sense we've had during the Federation Cup, that was before, on the Super Cup, we've had ISL I League teams regularly beat ISL teams. So it's not. I don't think it's on them to prove that the gulf is too big. I don't think that's a very accurate representation. But at the same time, they do have their task cut out. Uh, Getting into the league when all the big players are already there. There is a little prospect of getting in any of those good Indian players without splashing in the
Right.
money. So when you're coming into an environment like that, it was always going to be tough for them. They've
True.
shown that they've got the grit, I guess, but I don't think I've seen anything that uh, will change my views on how the team will fare. uh, they are going to struggle this season. So, and it's good that they've got that point. It's a moral boosting one, but yeah, it's going to be a long season for them.
Right? A team that will have a long season to another team that's probably looking to get back to their glory days. Bengaluru FC, Sandeep, a win at home. Their homecoming ended up with a win, but if I read it fine, it is three matches, one win and two losses so far in the three matches that they have played. Yes, last season, fag end of last season, they had a good run of results which helped them to finish where they finished, and that is the kind of momentum that they would have liked to carry on this season as well. How do you look at BFC in the first three matches that we've seen of them?
I mean, I think they probably the loss to Kerala was too harsh, but the win to East Bengal was also maybe a little lucky. So, little, you
Balancing it out.
know,
It's a balancing
balancing
act.
it out. It sort of balances it
But
out. But
fans have a lot of opinion, Grayson. I'm asking you, what is your opinion? Because fans are like, listen, we got some fans, and the sensible ones are saying that, listen, they something was clearly broken last year, and it's only a miracle run that saved them. Right?
yeah, so here's like my opinion of personally, I really like Grayson as a
Huh.
person. He's very affable,
As a
a
coach, we are
wonderful guy.
asking, huh?
But as a coach, also, I think last year, if you look at the run that they had, I there is a lot of things that came together for them last year, which is one, the fact that there was never the fans never got on the team's back. They were always supportive. Like I am sure if the fans had turned on him, a lot of our articles or a lot of the media outlook would have been very different. The second one is from everything that I've heard and I've spoken to different players who were there. There was whatever the result was. The training was always great, and Grayson was confident in his methods. His attitude sort of went through the players all the time, and it's not just the players like the ones who played. Eventually, he found a 11 set player who kept on playing every game, right? But it was the ones who were on the reserve team or out of the first 11. They were also doing really well in training, which is why. And that one match that they won sort of set everything in motion. And once the confidence out of build, it went on. But I don't think it's reasonable to expect them to go on a 10-game run of winning games and stuff. That doesn't happen all the time. That was a very special run. Last year, they needed somebody like Raisin because that dressing room was really broken the year before. What camaraderie that Naveen and I used to see when we were covering BFC, that was not existing at that time. Yeah, bubble, all those problems are also there. But that dressing room was not a very happy place and he had to be there. Now, this year, they have again, if you look at the kind of transfer but things that they have done, they have let go of a lot of their players. They've let go of a lot of their reserve players who were there for a long time. Some of the younger players have all been gone because I think they had over 30 players in their squad. They had to trim it down to come up with the budget and everything. Their foreign signings have largely been great. I think Damjanovic is great. Ryan Williams looks like a good player. yeah, the others have to. We have to wait and see. And this, the last next 2 3 years, you'll also see them. A lot of the younger players coming through their academy or who have joined their reserve team maybe 2 3 years ago. Them all coming through. Last year you saw Shiva come through. Bhutia has become a player who always plays for them. Roshan broke in the year before. This year we already seen I think 3 or 4 debutants for them. I think three of them are 4 debutants, and 3 of them are from their academy. And I'm sure Shreyas at some point will also get a look in. So that is their model now. I think there is an understanding from the club that they are not going to compete with Mohan Bagan or Mumbai in terms of spending. They can't.
Okay.
It's not sustainable. But they have invested 10 years into a system, into a reserve team and sort of a conveyor belt. They're hoping that those players will come in, and that can be their way of going forward. Last year, 3 finals they reached, lost 2,
Yeah.
but that was a great season. Can they repeat that season? I'm not very sure. Anyway, one trophy is already gone, so I
2 more
doubt
to
they
come.
can repeat. Yeah, 2 more. I doubt they can. I'm sure. I think they can qualify
Okay.
top 6, but top 1, 2, maybe even 3 looks really difficult. But this is only because of the fact that I don't have too much information about how these players are going to sort of come in and the step up from Super Division, right? We saw
Yeah.
Roshan for a long time. For a long time. It took for years before he made it into the national team.
Yeah.
So if they have another generation bunch of players like that, who knows?
Well,
But
then,
yeah, different
Okay,
times
but
for PSG.
sorry, what bunch of players are you talking about? Like, what bunch of players talking about? We have Roshan,
What
okay. Then,
Roshan Bhutia came from their academy.
okay.
Shiva, you can argue he is not from their
Bhutia,
academy, but
Namgyal Bhutia, right? But
yeah.
how many ISL matches has he? And when you say
Namgyal
coming through
Bhutia played
academy,
most of the game last year.
no, I'm saying when you say coming through academy, at what age did they join the academy? So, like, it's not.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like they came to the academy part of the reserve team. I can't sit here and differentiate between all this because that club is only 10 years old. So the players who come through their academy will only start coming maybe in the next 3 4 years, the earliest of them. But Robin Yadav has been with them for 4 years or something.
Look,
Fanai
right
has
now
been with them for 4 years.
the most realistic version of coming through an academy we can have in the Indian context is when somebody goes and scouts a very good 18 19-year-old from nowhere and uh, strings them along with the reserve team for 4 years and then brings them on. I think that is all we can expect right now. Days of somebody
Yeah.
being with
Other than Aizol
now
and teams like
clubs have
that.
only been there for 10 years, so you can't expect people who joined at 7 and for the first 3 4 years there was very little.
There is
So
still,
They started their academy only after 3 years.
yes,
yeah, there's still,
In the
no,
third
there's
year.
still very little, but no, fine.
7 years. So
Let's not go down the path. I'm saying you have one Roshan
let's
Singh and
not
you have
digress.
Bhoot.
you are
Yeah,
Roshan Bhutia.
Bhutia, yeah.
You could let's put if you want to put Shiva, you can put Shiva
No,
because
no,
he was there only for
Shiva came from Raman Vijayan Academy. I'm not.
he was there for 2 years
Huh,
in the reserve team.
huh.
Robin Yadav is a player who was in the reserve team for a while
Robin
now.
Yadav, yes, he's been playing the reserve for a long time now.
For a long
But
time.
he's not a settled.
Uh,
He's not a settled ISL player by any stretch of imagination.
he's breaking in. You're arguing for the sake of arguing.
How?
What? There he just made his debut now.
Hmm.
Fanai made his debut. I think he came on in the last
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
fine.
So these guys are just breaking in. So that is the idea. Like there is something interesting. Like all the Sairut Kima has now gone on to become a very good I League player, good defender in the I League. Last year he had a very good season. So these are players that they've let go. Who's that? Ashir Akhtar is playing for Northeast. I don't think he's that level at the moment, but he was part of their system as well. Parag was part of their system for a long time. He's been playing for quite a
Yeah,
while
but
for that team
you
as
look at the opinions on Parag. I mean, they're. Yeah.
well. But he's been playing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah, he's
saying
been
is
playing.
they're
Yeah, he's been playing. I don't know how, but he's
Toy
been
has
playing.
left. So Leon Augustine has gone. He's
Toy's
not.
moved to Leon Augustine gone. He's not even featuring on the bench at Punjab, which is very surprising because I thought he'd be their best Indian attacker. Looking at, I think
Yeah, so did I. But
there's
we'll see.
been a fallout, is what I've heard. There's been a fallout with
So-
the
But anyway, this is the direction that the club is looking to go in. Again, it's a very unpredictable direction, right?
But
When you have
but
so
what
many
will happen is
players.
now they have under nines, under 11s, all of that, and if they stick to it, I think they will produce.
I I know that I have two really good 15-year-olds
Yeah.
who I know that they have. I've written about one of them at least, but we have to see whether you know how hard it is for them to climb up the
No,
ladder
for
once you
sure,
get to a
for
certain.
sure, for sure.
So let's see. But anyway, that is the direction they are going. We'll see where it all
And
sort of
also
springs together.
direction change with change in coach, with the change in TD, with change in personal directions also change. You also know that also. So,
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's time for us to change our direction as well because there's a lot more that we need to discuss, isn't it? So we move on to the national team, shall we now? Because Mr. Stimac and his boys are in action in what is the name of that cup? Mardeka
Yes.
Cup.
Come on, Darshan.
Mardika.
I agree.
It's
But
more
let's
like a
move on.
Mardika
no,
match
no,
now.
no, no, no. Sandeep is just saying
Not Mardika Cup,
everyone came
correct.
to the
It's
academy.
Mardika
I
match.
did disagree. I disagree with
I didn't
Sandeep.
say
Okay,
everyone came to academy. I very clearly said academy or reserves.
we have moved on. We have moved directions. We have moved pages.
Move
Come on.
directions. Go, go,
But
go.
we,
Let's
we
move
will
forward.
Yes.
always disagree about BFC. Sandeep and I will always disagree about BFC. He's
But we
a
are
he's
right
a
now
fan.
talking about the national
I'm
team.
an
Come on.
objectivist. It's fine, huh?
Yeah, we're talking about the national team. We're talking about the men's national team. Mr. Stimach and his boys will be in action in a
Oh,
competition that
can
goes
we
by the
just
name.
before we jump to the national team? Can we just one small thing? Like we spoke about Chennai, and I wanted to ask Vishnu about this. The Chennaian team, they're not in a good space right now. Like you've covered them for a long time. They go up and they go down, very unpredictable team. But their fan base has always been this loud, happy bunch of fan
It's
bases,
sad
They're
right?
for
just
them.
happy to
And
watch football.
happy, loud and proud fan base.
Good fan base.
So
Hmm.
very good fan base. So now when you look at what is happening there, they are questioning a lot of problems. Like, do you have any like insights about what a Chennaian fan is feeling at the moment, the direction of the club is going?
I think I haven't. I left Chennai more than 3 years ago, so I can't claim to have any insight on what Chennai fans are feeling right now, except what I see on social media and what I see on the television. But what you said is true. They have an incredible. It's small. I wouldn't say it's a sizable fan base, but like the people who are there, they are really committed, and they've always, even in the worst of seasons, they've always backed the team. So definitely, they've got a great fan base. Um, they've got a fan base that deserves a lot more. But again, Chennai and the situation that they find themselves in, it's not a new thing. It's been the case for a while, I'd say. When was the last time they had a great ISL season? It's been a while.
See, this is the season they reached the final. Last Owen Coyle, yeah,
Yes,
Owen Coyle, yeah,
Yeah, the last Coil
2020.
season, yes.
yeah.
So it's, but I think, yeah, as I said when the pod started, we called Chennai what was going to happen to Chennai and way before the season started, because you could say that there have been so many ways in which so many things they could have done differently. There have been allegations of a certain sort called out by people close to the team about related to their transfers, which I don't want to repeat here. So it's clear that something's not working out for them. It's clear that there are things that they can do differently, and yeah, so it's sad. It's sad for the fans, because it's not like Chennai is not a city like Kerala, like Kochi, where you can have a really bad season and still the next season, the first day, 60,000 people will show up in the stadium. It's a fan base that I've always felt personally needed to be nurtured, because there's a genuine love for the game, there's a genuine knowledge of the game in Chennai, and with the right kind of nurturing, Chennai and FC could have built a very sizable and very vocal fan base,
Proud fan
and
base. Yeah.
yeah, and proud fan base as well. And the way the team is playing now, the way I want to say the way the club has been run for the past couple of seasons, I don't think that's that's going to help in any of this.
No, I agree. Number one wasted potential in the ISL. If to look at it, because I think I spent 7 years Tamil Nadu. Amazing culture of football. Love it. Like have to love those guys. Like Southern Tamil Nadu, especially, like they go crazy for the game. Like there are villages which have the same cultures as hotbeds. I would say Tamil Nadu is a hotbed. So I've always said that for me, Tamil Nadu, Meghalaya, and Haryana are the three wasted potential when it comes to Indian football. Haryana, especially, when it comes to women's football and all that, because surprisingly, Haryana, there's a lot of parity. And Tamil Nadu, again, there's a lot of parity between men and women, and they're showing in their women's football also. So I think not just, and honestly, they've reached a point where they can possibly compete with Manipur in the women's game also. So Chennai NFC, I have to say, is an absolute. I don't want to use the word, you know, starting with S and then another word starting with S. But I mean,
Before,
sorry.
yeah, before we move on to the next one,
Yeah,
Naveen is so bored. He's looking at something else.
yeah.
But
He's
the
watching
thing,
something.
only reason
When we
I
are
bring
talking, he's
Chennai,
watching something on his mobile
yeah,
or tab
the
or
only
something.
reason is
Bharadwaj lady
Watching
is saying
series,
please
whatever
take
series you're
questions
watching.
too.
We will
Bharadwaj
for
lady,
sure.
probably Klopp is complaining about something new. So that's what Naveen is
Injury
doing.
time is saying we will for sure.
He will for sure, yeah. But yeah, anyway, the only reason I asked is Tamil Nadu have always sounded to be an extremely hot, not Indian football, sporting hub.
sporting home.
Cricket they do well,
Yeah.
volleyball they do well.
Yeah.
Tennis, half the players come from that
Yeah.
side of the world
Half or
only.
more, I think. Even
Everyone
Basketball
more.
they
go,
do
like
well.
everyone goes to Chennai to play
No,
too.
but there was
Yeah,
what
it's
you asked is a very
amazing the
relevant
talent.
question, because there was a time, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, when it looked like Tamil Nadu was going to emerge as a proper powerhouse in Indian football,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
all that potential has gone to waste, because this is a very bad time for Tamil Nadu football. You got Chennai doing what they're doing. You got Chennai City no longer there. The state FA's run is probably the worst run FA in all of the country.
Hmm.
They're not
So
running only.
They are running only.
huge potential is being wasted.
Hmm.
So it's very sad, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Okay, Naveen, sorry, please
Shall we
continue.
segue? Shall we move direction?
Yes.
Move on. Because I miss Mr. Stimac
Uh,
and his boys who are back in action
that's
in
that's correct, Darshan.
in
Yeah.
in, in Mardega Cup.
Uh,
So yeah, international break. The few and far friendlies that come the team's way before the big Asian Cup in January. Yeah, the goal is pretty clear, and Stimac has been handed an extension, so he's here to stay. How do you look at these upcoming matches, Mr. Orko?
मार देगा को मर जाएगा I I don't know what effect this contract extension will have on Stimac, to be honest. Does he relax or does he go for the kill? Because listen, he might have got a contract extension, but if we have a, now I'll use the word shit show of an Asian Cup, right? He might
We
be
might get the
packing his
sack.
he
Yeah.
might be packing his bags earlier than and listen, honestly, I feel for the guy. I feel for the guy because he's had his moments. He's gone on social media and he's bared his heart out. He's like
Yeah.
Asian Games, and honestly, what they did with the Indian squad at the Asian Games is,
That was difficult.
I mean, is it professionalism? I mean, okay, fine. If you knew, if you're, did you have a contingency plan? You didn't, right? Till the last, you were like, "Huh, ISL will send players, send players, send players." You should have started training with I-League players,
Yeah.
right? You as a federation should have taken the decisions better, right? But Stimac, I would also say has played to the gallery very well. That also is something he's done.
He has his PR game on point, man. Can't deny that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he's hired somebody to do that, because he's identified us as an emotional people, and man, he's done what Constantine wasn't able to do. Constantine also made a plea. I hope the Indian government sends out. Of course, at that point in time, Indian football Twitter wasn't full of so many people. It was very small back then also. 2018, it was very small, right? But Asian Games, they fought, they went for
No,
it.
but with regards to Asian Games, what I actually think is it worked in AIFF's favor, in Stimac's favor, because Kalyan Chaubey is also part of the IOA. So you
Hmm.
have your president who's part of the IOA, so you have a better way. that was not the case back in 2018 where Kushal Das and
They were
Patel
constant
was.
loggerheads.
There was
They were
Yeah, they were on
constant
loggerheads.
loggerheads with the IO.
Exactly.
IO didn't like them at all.
Exactly.
Even now, apparently, Kalyanji and some people in the IO have a small tiff
Yeah,
going.
yeah. That's not
It's
It
not
is
small
there
by
was
any stretch
also
of
the fact that
imagination.
when
It's not a
when
small tip.
Constantine asked
not a small
when
tiff.
Constantine asked to go, he had no real momentum behind
yeah.
him. When this time they asked to go, they
That,
could. It's SAF Cup. They had SAF Cup, Intercontinental Cup, and something else before that. I forgot the name. But they were winning back to back to back in a good form. And at that time, it looked, because it was happening in Bangalore. It was Kuwait. It was Pakistan. Lebanon, and all these big teams, bigger teams came. So we were all like, this is fantastic. The crowd is amazing. That momentum carried on, and they asked, because I don't think Asian Games was part of the discussion in the calendar before.
Never.
They just found an option and then
Yeah.
asked. Like
And I'm
I will not blame a single ISL club for not letting their players go,
absolutely
because
not.
it is not their
Yeah, yeah.
prerogative.
I even
Look,
think.
Ashik is out for the season,
Yeah.
because not because of Asian Games,
I
but
know.
Ashik is out for the
Yeah.
season because he went. But that was something that they had to send him for.
Correct.
It was a national team game. He has
Exactly.
to play.
Exactly.
These kind of optional games, they can
Yeah.
say no.
Like I won't even be surprised that the entire UN cry for Asian Games came after fans went gaga on social media, because if you recollect well, just before the Asian Games, the Indian football fans were up in arms. Like, why is the football team not going for the Asian Games? Like, it's an under 23 competition. Team doesn't get enough matches. Why aren't you sending? And that's when AIFF woke up, and they're like, okay, we need to send our teams. And then that's when Chaube did his Chaube things at IOA, got ministry's nod, and then came the problem that ISL teams told that, sorry, was not releasing
But look,
players.
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
blame AIF
agree with you,
for
Naveen, there,
pushing
because
through. Then
I think if what you're saying is true, then you're cutting IFF a lot of slack. In that, I think I'm pretty sure that Asian Games was always on AFF's calendar. It was there when the calendar was released. They put out the draft calendar on social media. It was there in the calendar. Chaube spoke about Asian Games in January and February on various meets. So the plan was always there. It's
like,
just that they knew this thing was coming. They made zero efforts to.
Okay.
They took it for granted. They took the
Understood.
participation for granted. They took the league for granted. They took the club for granted. And
Got
then
it.
in the last minute, when it turns out that nobody is going to do what they want, then they started the whole panicky thing. And I think in the end, they've seriously jeopardized India's chances of going for the next Asian Games, because whatever agreement that Chobe cut with the sports ministry was that he'd send India's most powerful team. In the sense, he
Yeah.
sent the best possible team, and what we sent was not even our main under 23 team. It's like a B version of the under 23 team with a smattering of players here and there,
Correct.
and nobody's happy with the team that the team that eventually went to China. And I think the next time this question arises as to whether India should send a team to the Asian Games, this is going to definitely count against them.
but
So
Vishnu, was it a weak team? Because there are several internationals also in the team, right? It wasn't a weak team by any stretch of the imagination, but yes,
no,
it
it was
wasn't a
not the
primary
weak team.
under
It
23
was not.
players.
I'm not saying it was a weak team, but what I'm saying is, if they had gone for the strongest possible under 23 team, I don't think at least 7 or 8 of the players, not 7 or 8, even more than that, of the players who went there would have gone. You would have had so many other players who didn't end up
Options,
going.
yeah.
You would have, yeah. So and this is something that, due to the extensive coverage of this whole fiasco, the sports ministry is aware of, that the team
Correct.
that went in the end is nowhere near the
Hmm.
what the match wanted. No, and he didn't help himself by releasing the team first, and then they just have to compare the two lists, the players he wanted
Yeah.
versus the players who eventually went in the end. So, and again, it just blows your mind, right? You release a
Yeah. True.
team, and then you change the team, and then you change the team again, and then
Yeah.
you announce a final 17-member squad, and then you add one player, and then you add two players. It's like, come on, what?
Hey, this is my school team.
I think it was botched in execution for sure.
Yeah.
It was
But
botched and everything.
I do feel like the fact that they got out of the group they can use that as a card to play. So last time we, with zero preparation, we got out of the group. We can win a medal this time if we go. I mean, that's how you sell that,
The
right?
But
doubt
Next time when
doubt
we
is
yeah, yeah,
It's a
agree, agree, agree.
four-team group. You finish
Yeah,
third. What is there to be proud of?
but that's not the point, right?
win medal
We
alone.
are still talking about the performance we had in Asian Cup in 2019 when we finished bottom.
Yeah,
So, I
Well,
mean,
see,
it's
if
the spin
Stimac
is
is
there.
there for 2022, his PR game is so good, he'll get the team sent to the Asian Games.
This
But
is
if
an
some
interesting
guy
thing.
like
Like,
Constantine is there, they're not going.
but there was a moment where I really thought it was all coming to a head between Stimac and the federation,
Hmm.
and the conversations happening. I really thought it was all coming to an end. I was inside. I was like, okay, this is horrible because we bought him for Asian Cup. We are so close to the Asian Cup. I hope they don't do anything drastic.
yeah.
But in
I
the
think
end,
I
when
think
they
you're referring to
announced,
what Darshan is saying, the passport fiasco. People who Steamage holding back the passport and things like that.
it was not Stimac who held back the
Or you can
passport. Let's be very
Yeah.
honest. He had nothing to do with that. It was. But look at the stories that came out, right? One story came out that he was looking at the horoscope and all these things.
Yeah.
That was a story that was
Yeah, that's a
released
very
for
old
the
story.
previous fight race.
Yeah,
Then the other one about Apuya. A lot of people are asking about Apuya. And see, you have to look at it from a coach's point of view also. You asked the players to do one very menial thing. This fellow has not done it. So how difficult is it to? I mean, you need discipline in a
yeah.
team, and if the coach wants to keep a player outside, then that is his prerogative.
And we've heard
And
stuff about
I
Apuya,
think
by the way. We've heard stuff
no?
about Apuya. It's not out of the blue.
Uh,
It's not
it's
out
not
of the
out of the
blue.
blue.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So the coach took a stand to not play a player. This is a stand that a lot of coaches across the world has taken.
Yeah.
Bro. Some of the really good players have never gotten a chance. So the way it is all written at that point in time, there was a lot of undercurrent and
Like
the
Benzema
language of
not
it all.
going to the 2018 World Cup, if I remember well.
Yeah, I mean, no, Roman Dominic was such a believer in astrology that he wouldn't take players that he thought wouldn't astrologically be correct for his team. So these kind of things have happened everywhere, but it's not a pass. But these are stories that have been written in a
Remember,
manner that
Croatia sent home, Rebic sent, Croatia sent home who during the 2018 World Cup? In the middle of the World Cup, they sent somebody home. If I'm not wrong, Onana was sent home during in the middle of the
Yeah.
World Cup.
yeah. So these kind of things do happen, but like I am happy that it is over now. We can look at the next bunch of
Mar
teams. This
Dega
is a
Cup.
group of
I don't think it's in the sense it's over in a sense.
It's not.
It will blow
Yeah,
up
because
closer to the next
see,
Asian
Indian
Games.
football, the Indian football officials, they have a good history of sending home foreign coaches in really bad ways. We
Yeah.
saw what happened with Bob Houghton, with
Yeah.
all the racism allegations and all that. We saw what happened with Kovermans
Constantine.
was probably the one who knew his time was up one full year before it was
Yeah.
up.
Go.
Yeah.
Because he
That
didn't
was
do
government
anything. That was the
hardly
exception.
played the game, man.
Yeah, they
We
played
know-
that
we
two
know what
matches
happened.
against Pakistan.
Right. We know what happened with
Under 23.
Constantine. So, and I'm pretty sure that there were people who tried their best to have the same thing happen with Stimac as well. The only reason Stimac is still there because he's smarter than them.
And also he has a crowd support.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of
that's
haters,
where the smartness
but
come in, right? He knows
yeah, he has a crowd
who
support.
he's playing to.
Comes from results also. He can't come. I mean, he's smart, but he's played his game very
Yeah,
well.
definitely. I'm
But
not.
his meantime, results have also been in his favor.
PR game on point, but for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, guys, also we said we could win a medal, right? This time, gold, silver, bronze went to South Korea, Japan, Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
It did, and Hong Kong,
Pakistan is a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Soon they're going to be
Hong
London
Kong,
and all that, please.
in order to reach the semis, had to pull an upset over Iran,
Yeah.
right? 1-0. And I'm just saying, like,
Winning a
that-
medal.
Who said they could have won a medal? Oh, Stimac said no. They could have.
sorry,
Stimac said they could have won a medal, right?
Stimac will say a lot of things.
Yeah. Winning a
Right.
medal, please.
But I agree with Kaushik Mukherjee. Asian Games is a past chapter now.
I am
Let's
talking
talk about
about
the
Mar
future
Dega
future.
Cup for so many times, for such a long time. No.
See, but
You have to
Palestine
analyze
obviously is
history in
gone
order
out.
to not repeat it. So it's a past chapter,
So
but we have lessons to evaluate
Yeah.
from it as well.
We'll never learn, but
I can't imagine a situation where we don't talk about this because it was hilarious
Yeah.
and
It
scary
was.
at the same time. So, but Madrega Cup,
Yeah,
Palestine is out.
Yeah, they play Malaysia first up.
Malaysia.
Host team. If
First
they
time
win,
and
they
last
play
time, right?
Tajikistan.
It's it's Merdeka match. They play
Hmm.
Yeah.
they play one
Yeah.
game and then they're done.
No, if they
It's
win, they
almost
play
like
one
going there
more.
for a friendly.
If they win, they play one more. Like, and if Stimac is to be believed, they might just win it. You don't know. They're playing Malaysia.
Look, I am really looking forward to watching Malaysia play
Mhm.
because I think that will be a good test for them going into the Asian Cup.
Great.
Because I think Asian Cup, someone recently mentioned in the comments about Tajikistan and their good form.
Great. Playing over.
Yeah, you are going there with like everything is up against you. I don't know how the whole thing will be. You'll always have only 2 weeks you got to prepare this and that and everything. So I don't know how they are going to like prepare. So they need to get these matches out of the way. Good performance against Malaysia is absolutely key because I think they are maybe just a little bit better than India is, having seen their games. Maybe a little bit faster than India how they play.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see how they perform in that. I don't have too much to say about the squad and
Well,
everything
we'll wait
because
and
it's
watch, dude. Like, that's the best way.
Malaysia didn't even send a team to the Asian Games.
Did they have the same problem? Like,
Yeah.
no,
like
they
India
played
did.
under 23 Asian games, no? Asian
ASEAN
games.
Games. ASEAN Games. Yes.
They played the under 23
Sea
Under 23
games.
there.
Games.
Sea Games.
Yes, they
Yeah.
played the Sea Games. Yes,
Sea Games.
cool. So Malaysia first, then Tajik. If they win, then Tajikistan, then probably
Tajikistan, India played not very recently. I think 5 years.
they played in the
Uh,
last qualification cycle. No,
uh,
That was a draw or a loss? It was loss, no 1-0 loss.
no, cool.
I don't remember, but yeah,
Okay,
they're not an easy team. None of the West Asian teams are easy.
okay. Like, I
Very
think
tough.
this is a good time to take one question. Ashu's question. If you can flash it on the screen, whoever is hosting this stream. Okay, there's
Is
the
this
question.
on?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Steamer giving exclusive interviews to ref over formal press conferences?
I'm just going to say the cancer of Indian cricket has moved to Indian football. That's all I'm going to say.
Cool. So yeah, that was a sweet and short answer. But before we round up, I just wanted to take your opinion on Asian Cup because now I think after Mardeka Cup, there might be some friendlies during that preparation period that the team gets before Asian Cup, right?
I think November there
Yeah.
is.
So there's
Huh.
another window in November.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So if that's the case, so there might be a match or two before we actually get into the Asian Cup. But going into the Asian Cup this time around, what should be realistic? What should be the realistic expectation of this team? Because and I want to
Go there.
I want no if you yeah Sandeep, I want to start with Orko because he's the one who brought up the entire conversation, right? If it is a shit show. So what is a shit show and what is not a shit show as like for this team
Ac-
going into this Asian
Actually, now that we think about it, even finishing fourth is not a shit show in the group, right?
Cup?
Because because given the group that we have, and guys, we've seen how India's played, right? I mean, with all due respect, we've improved, but I don't know what happens at the Asian Cup that is any different from what we've done. We have what Uzbekistan, Syria, and Australia.
Yes.
It gives me really bad memories of 2011. Honestly, like 2011 is the one that I remember, and we had almost zero hope going into that
Yeah, we just went to
Asian
have
Cup.
fun.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to speak about this about on every live till the actual
Till,
Asian Cup
till it
happens.
actually happens.
Yeah, but I mean, finishing third will be creditable, and even if they finish fourth, then the manner of these performances will tell us if the
Third will
tournament
be a
is a
lot more
success or not.
better. It's not creditable. It's a lot.
What?
This is the thing.
Finishing third is going to be a lot more than creditable. It's
Yeah.
going to be like a
It's going to be a miracle. Hallelujah. It's going to be a miracle. Yes, okay.
So,
Okay.
this is the thing, right? In November, yeah,
Yeah,
everybody is saying
the
World Cup qualifier is correct.
correct.
Qatar is we're playing Qatar in November, so
The,
it's not going to
the
be any
Bhubaneswar
easy
match or the away match?
away match, I think.
Okay.
But this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, it's like how I'm going to cook. How I cook is how I'm going to judge
How do you?
Indian football
Okay, so
and
first,
Asian
Then
Cup.
badly,
With
then
feelings.
badly.
how do you?
Feelings. There's no formula. It's just feeling. This much salt.
Yeah,
No? Same way, like feeling. They played well. Okay, they played. If they didn't play well, they
Yeah,
didn't
he's
play well.
playing.
That's how I'm
Yeah,
going to
right
judge
now
stuff.
you're playing with emotions.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's a good note to wrap up today's.
No,
It's not
Vishnu,
wrapping up.
Oh
Before
I want
no,
to
wrapping
hear
up,
from
I
we're
would like
not
to
Vishnu.
wrapping
point
up.
out
Vishnu
that
wants to make
after
a point, and
last
then there's
year's
something else also we need
no,
to talk
yeah,
about.
no. Before wrapping up, I'd like to point out that after last year's high-profile Santosh Trophy tournament, the next edition has started, and nobody even knows.
We
Santosh
know.
Trophy is going on right now. Nobody knows. They're trying
Yeah,
to keep it as much under the radar as possible.
yeah. It's a very
But
highly low-profile competition.
on taking a tangent from there,
Uh-huh.
I League is finally starting end of this month.
But it had a lot of
There
tender
is
issues. Do you want to throw some light
there
on
is a
that?
lot of tender issues. I got a lot of messages from people, so I'm just going to tell them, give them some information about how it happened. Okay, so essentially,
Share
the
screen.
problem,
Share.
huh? Yeah, we'll say, but I'm giving the background.
Okay.
So the tender first came, and there was a court case that was put on against the tender. So I'm just going to share the screen here.
Zoom in,
Can you
Bachi.
guys see?
Zoom in.
I don't know how to zoom in, man.
Hey.
Is it
Yeah,
better now?
readable.
Okay. So this is from the courts. You can get this from the court. Okay, this is the official document that they have. So KPS had won the tender. Okay, I'll just scroll down to show where it is. See, Kaleidoscope Production and Services had won the tender last year
Right.
to cover the broadcast the I League and all those. So when the new tender came, they put a court case saying that this is not as per our agreement that happened before. So, as per the agreement before it is written here, AIFF thereby commissions KPS Studio to produce live feed for the live audio visual coverage of the matches for 3 seasons. Right, that's what is written here. But the tender was called for 1 year. Further down, you can see the fact, yeah, terms and providing service under the agreement shall be from 2022 to 2023. So there is a sort of a what do you call some things don't gel there because it's not the same thing. So KPS had won the tender. They went to the court saying you can't call a new tender. So then I think Hindu had a news, which is where I picked up the whole thing.
Hmm.
Hindu had a news about the court case and what
Hmm.
happened over there.
Hmm.
And subsequently, the day before, I think there were two summons that was not answered. And the day before the third summon, or 2 days before the third summons, AIFF withdrew the tender, put the tender, a new tender out again. And in this tender, what is interesting is some of the technical details have been changed, like the number of matches have been changed. All those details have been written, so they can consider this as a fresh tender. So the issue now is the KPS is still saying that we have the tender and the rights to broadcast, but this is a new tender. So to deal with Okay. So because it's a new tender, they can potentially file a new petition and go to the court again because they can say that the finer details, the finer points are different.
Hmm.
So this is where we are right now. Now they have to. I don't know where the court case is headed, whether KPS is going to continue with the our court case or not. It looks likely that they might. But regardless of that, I don't know where this is headed. At the moment, I don't know. We don't really have any telecast rights yet. They've not been awarded yet. And fixtures have come out. There was some confusion with the fixtures
Hmm.
also, right? I don't know why Imphal was even mentioned as a potential venue. I don't know how you can go and play there. But it was there finally. Now I think Kalyani would be the place where the Northeast teams, Mizoram, Manipur teams are going to play if they have to play. So there is so much stuff going around I League who don't know their broadcasters yet, don't know what the situation is going to be with the court case and everything. Whose schedule just came, I don't know, less than a month from when the league is going to start. They have to figure out the travel and all those things. So I League again has been given bad, short end of the stick. They have a lot to do there.
Yeah, season in and
But
season out, it's the same
I will
story.
give, as much as we criticize AIFF for what they have done here, I will give credit to AIFF because they have released a schedule for IWL. At least those people have a clear idea of how you are going to run your league and what are the dates and all those things. So before we end this, if you have this is general gist of what happened. Orko, Vishnu, Naveen, if you have anything to add, please go ahead.
I think I'm very happy that this is happening with the I League, because otherwise it would give a very unfamiliar and it is a homely feeling, right? Something, something getting screwed up. It has to be something very. It's very emotional right now. If it doesn't, if it does, it's not broken. It's not right in Indian football. So I'm very happy. Like
That it's
at least,
broken.
yeah, like like otherwise it'll feel like, yeah, everything's going right. It's not fair at all for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm missing my daily dose of drama. Yeah, it's not.
Like he
So
doesn't feel
yeah,
at home if there is no
yeah,
drama.
yes. If the Asian Games fiasco, right? It gave a warm feeling inside. Like it's like like this is
This
like
is
this
something
is
I'm used to. This is
yeah,
something I can deal
this is
with.
Indian football at its finest, right? This is Indian football at its finest,
Yeah.
right? This is something now. My popcorn will come in handy. Something, you know.
Cool.
Otherwise,
But I
yeah.
actually feel for the teams because, like it's been the case over the years, and something that Sandeep you have always spoken about in the past. The
Huh.
teams are the ones who are actually struggling because to get sponsors with such a short notice, to get sponsors without knowing if there will be a telecast or not, it's not an easy job. It's really really difficult. So teams will really struggle once again.
Yeah.
And the sad
90
part is,
seconds stoppage has got it correctly.
Sorry, Vishnu.
the sad part is
Stating technically.
that now that there is relegation and promotion, at least in name, the it is the people who win this league where all this mess is happening. A league that effectively prevents you from developing your club that's supposed to go straight next year and compete with people with the big purses. So I don't know how it helps. And one more thing that came to mind was I remember in the last pod we were talking about how we were all talking about the institutional leagues and how that was a good thing. But now I'm thinking, and the people who can't run the league they have properly, what are they going to do with the one extra league? When you have the one league, you can run that. Now you're going to start one more league.
You were saying institution
What
leagues.
will you
I'm saying
do?
it's difficult for them to run both the institution and a league. You are saying institution won't happen. It won't
You
happen.
look at this also, right? You're coming into an I League season. You announced 5 teams to as direct entries. If you had just reworded the 5 teams and said these teams are eligible
Huh.
or qualified, then the subsequent fiasco could have been avoided. A lot of these teams have gone on to ask, can we, instead of spending 2 crore, 2.5 CR for 4 years, can we spend instead
Uh,
on infrastructure or youth development or doing some activity? FCBU did that. They very openly said they did that. Once that didn't go through, then they didn't care anymore. They were like, look at FCBU where they are now in the BDFA league. They're not the same team, and that's not completely their own fault because they didn't sign anybody because they didn't know where they were headed. Were they going I League or were they in I League Two? Do we sign that quality player or this? Our budget has to increase. They didn't know anything. Finally, they walked away. Now, I don't know this, but Gaurav Manchanda, who's the owner, has every right to feel peeved and like let down. Like he was trying to do something good for the community, good for the Bangalore football,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen. Now, what if he turns around and says, "Okay, you know what? Just play Super Division. We'll do what we can, and if we qualify, we qualify. Otherwise, we are done."
Yeah.
That'll give another homely feeling. That's also a feeling of familiarity.
Be at home. But
People,
okay,
people,
before we wrap, okay,
yeah.
this fellow is feeling very, very much at home. There are a few questions if you want to answer. Sandeep, you can pop up
Yes.
Reynolds' question, opinion on task force for PIO and OCI. You
Time
want to-
pass. Next.
Again, there
I
was a
agree.
very
This is a time
detailed
pass
discussion
move.
on this in the last pod, where
Yeah.
we pretty much said that as long as the government doesn't change its rules that prevent
Yeah.
or they bring in dual citizenship, something of that sort. You can look what all you want, but this is
Needs
based
a
on actual
constitutional
court verdicts and
amendment.
legal issues. So what I do
Lot of this is also pushed by agents and stuff.
exactly, yeah.
I think
Very
everything
honestly.
is. Yeah.
Because you have to also understand where it is coming from. This is papering over the cracks at best.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Pakistan has done this, so we also can do this. Or Qatar has done this at a very high level, so we also
But
can do
look
this.
at Qatar. They went
What
and
now?
lost every single match at the World Cup, dude.
But
Poorly.
what? But they won the Asian
Oh,
Cup.
they did, yes.
Something. But whatever happens, Other countries can do it, but when are you going to look at your own thing and say, then eventually just go find 11 players from outside and play them? No, why are you even having a league
Correct.
here? They can come, you play in the Premier League, you come here, play the match, and then you go back. In,
We will have players playing in the Premier League.
and you're having people tweet and players who are of Indian origin from outside saying,
I would.
I want to play for India and all.
Then leave your.
Please,
Yeah.
just give up your passport,
No,
come here.
like
Aram se you
be
play.
Akshay Kumar. No, take Indian citizenship.
Arata Izumi played for
Yeah.
India. So why not?
Why can't
You
you
can
be the
just
one?
Aram say you do the same thing and come play. Arata Izumi now working for Reliance Youth
RFIs.
Development.
Interkashi.
RFIS.
Arata Izumi is moved to
Oh, he left.
Interkashi.
He's moved to Inter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know this.
RFIs.
Arata Izumi is assistant at Interkashi. He's left RFIS, I think. I believe has to. I think you know to coach
Yeah,
Interkashi. Yeah.
wherever he is in India only now. He is doing.
Yeah. Cool. Do you
team
want to
football.
take up the next question from Roshan?
No, I want to take up this question because Roshan has asked
That's
a
the
very
exact question that I
interesting
wanted you to take up.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My
Yeah.
bad.
So I think it must have been must have been some Twitterati who would have said go to Pakistan and
No,
constant.
but this
That's a
fellow's
good
going
idea.
back. No,
Yeah.
isn't he going back? Because he's like, there's no money, there's nothing happening. He's like,
I don't
He's
know if he's going
announced.
back.
He's announced that
He
he's going
joined the
back.
team. 3 days later, he complained, and 2 days later, he understood nothing's going to change. So
So he's like
he's
going
sticking
back.
on right now. So, but anyway, the thing with Pakistan is there are 2 matches. It depends on how those two. I think
Yeah.
the one match is day after, and the other match is on 17th. They lose both, and they don't have football for the next
Next 4
three,
years.
4 years. With unless you count the SAF Cups, which let's see what happens.
They
So,
should spend 15 CR and field a team in the.
ISL. We can have a Hey, bacha, they won't
So,
get
I know, I mean,
passport here.
You
People
can
are not
play in
getting.
Qatar.
No,
You
they
can
won't
play
get.
in
Constantine
LA
can-
games,
Yeah,
games in
they're
Qatar.
not getting visa only.
From what we saw in the SAF Cup, Pakistan, they have some decent players with it, but the thing is they're all on different wavelengths. So if Constantine in 5 days can bring all of them together and play a cohesive game and get a result, then all power to him, I guess.
Is
It's
he
not
is he
going to be an
going?
easy
Is he
task.
staying there or is he not staying there? Because I also saw him complain about the ground and
He's
this.
there. He's there.
Hmm.
He's
He's
there for
there.
at least the
There-
next 2 games.
Okay.
He's a glutton for punishment. He spends 2 stints in some places also. So he's clearly like even when he realizes nothing will change, he spends time.
Makes for a
He
great
had, he
coach.
had he went there expecting something like India, and he had quite
Oh,
the shock
right.
of his life because like they don't even have a single proper stadium to train in. I think their home match is going to be played in the afternoon because they don't have a single stadium where the floodlights are up to FIFA standards. So that's what he's gone into, and it's a whole lot of it is due to the way the game is run there, which is even worse than it is in India. So
It is coming out of a ban, no? Lengthy ban, FIFA ban.
even before, I mean, come on, you had an FA for 50 years, you can't make one stadium with floodlights, and you can't blame a ban of 3 years for that. So
Cool. I think that's a good note to finally wrap.
And
This
just
one
to
last
answer,
question.
just to
90
answer,
seconds after this asked a very interesting question to Orko now.
my bestie is not even speaking to me anymore. Like so sad it is.
I
Like,
think you have to address the fact that one random KBFC fan came and abused us as well. Not knowing three of the people here are Mallus and understand perfectly well whatever he typed out.
Oh, yeah.
I think he got confused.
KBC fan, right? Yeah. Oh,
I don't
yeah.
understand only.
It's okay. You don't have
It's
to.
okay. But
The rest of us do. So
it is just, it's very easily understandable.
I don't know. Is he abusing us or is he abusing the Mumbai team? It's hard to.
I think it's Mumbai
understand,
team.
but,
I mean, we didn't do anything right.
I think
Or probably he thought we are Mumbai fans. That
Uh,
could be.
but
Naveen is a
you
Mumbai
are
fan,
London.
so direct your.
you are from Mumbai.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
Mallu in Mumbai. So.
yeah. Direct all your anger to me. I'll take it.
but to answer Darshan's question, I will call it now. I'm calling Srinidhi now. It's for me, it's
Promotion.
Srinidhi. Yeah,
Promotion to ISL.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're way
Srinidhi's-
ahead of the rest already, and they've retained their main two foreigners, Castaneda and Shaiste. So I have to go with Srinidhi.
No, I think Srinidhi is a good shout. But
Yeah.
again, going there, then you have to pay whatever is the franchisee fee.
Uh, uh,
All that is
I've heard rumors from within the camp that that's going to be slightly a concern for Srinidhi. It wasn't
Yeah.
a gun for Round Glass,
They paid.
Punjab, but for Srinidhi that's going to be a slightly a concern. Yeah.
So that part is there. But anyway, but to answer 90 seconds of his answer, I don't think round two is coming, man. Orko versus the.
Or probably after his tenure with AIFF.
Yeah. We
That
need
would-
all of you guys to start a movement. Say
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
we need you to come on
Let's-
injury time.
But do
Yeah.
you honestly,
When is
you
Arco
guys,
running for
the
AFF?
reason why
Arco is only going to run behind AFF, not for.
that's a response to Ashu's question. Imagine one of us end up in AFF, right? Orko will be outside calling and saying, "What the fuck are you doing
Tell me
now?"
some shit. Give me the dope.
No,
If,
not for the dope, criticizing because
No,
that's
abusing, downright
like he said,
abusing.
he's running
No,
behind.
no,
if it is
I,
if it is you,
In
Sandeep, I
15
will
years on, we'll have
definitely.
a Naveen versus
Huh?
Arco round 1, Naveen versus Arco round 2.
I still think that he goes to Dwarka, stands out outside the office and abuses them. Do you?
Oh, it's an ugly fucking office. I have to tell you guys.
But can we just say this though? The last time when Mr. Dr. Shaji Prabhakaran came,
Doctor.
he is Dr. Shaji Prabhakaran.
Yes,
He was-
I know, but it seems like we have to get it to the depth of that doctorate also.
He's
I
doctor.
feel.
I didn't know that
the
he
last
had
time
a
he
doctor.
did come on, it was purely because the fans demanded it
Yeah.
Please
on
demand.
Twitter. So
Yeah,
if you
Demand.
guys
for
can
the-
please demand and push our case, 100% we'll get. This time I will also join because evenings I'm not always free, but I'll make sure that I'm free.
If he wants, if the great man
Your
wants, I
employees,
won't
yeah.
join. Let it be Sandeep. If the great man
Sure.
wants, I
Let
won't
me
join. Huh?
take
Let
it
it be
this.
Sandeep. Yeah.
Yeah, but 100% we can do this. Let's
We
build
can
the
do this. Yeah.
groundswell.
It needs to be a
Yeah.
movement. Let's bring about change.
Yeah,
And on
and
that
just
note,
let us
hey,
know
finished,
about which
I'm
guests you
hungry.
guys want. No, I'm just saying let us know about which guests you guys want, and we are on 966 subscribers, guys. Just help us get to 1,000.
Yeah, hey,
That's it.
Renil, it's okay, da. Like Guardian Sports publishing stories on Indian football
So
is
yeah,
always
the
PR.
reason Guardian Sport published it is a lot of the agents who push these kind of players are based in the UK. So
Yeah.
you can understand why
I
Guardian
mean, that
published
was
this
one
Mhm.
of
article.
the most uninformed article I've read. Okay, this is
Yes.
really
That was Sean Carroll, right?
no.
Was it?
No. He's in a Sean Carroll. You said, huh?
Yeah, Sean. The
No. He
guy
writes
in
on
Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, the guy
No,
in Japan.
Sean Carroll, it's in Japan. This was
He's in Japan. He knows what
John
is
Dueten,
coming.
right?
Duerden,
This was John
Duerden,
Oh,
Dueten.
Duelan, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is John
Sean,
Dueten.
Sean Carroll is a great journalist. He
Yeah,
has been,
John Carroll. Yeah, this
yeah.
the Guardian journalist in question has written a few questionable. Has done a few picks also for the Guardian Youth 100.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
only from one part of the one group only. Let's be honest.
Anyway, let's wrap up. Thank
Okay,
you.
let's
Guys.
wrap up. I'm hungry. Cause of elections. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Renil. Thank you, Ashu, 98 Sports. And
Thank you, everybody.
yeah, Vishnu, Orko, Sandeep,
Thank you,
Naveen. It's good to
KBFC
be back.
fan.
Thank you,
And
KBFC
let-
fan, for abusing us. It's okay. We'll take you. Let your vent your anger. You have a good night. Sleeps. Okay, bye bye. That's
Bye.
that's how I wrap. I'm hungry. I can't talk more.
Okay, see you guys.
Bye, man.